All right, so I guess we'll move on now to The Shining, which is the movie I will be talking about, directed by Stanley Kubrick. Okay, and what this movie is about is there is a family, kind of a troubled family that's having hard times and looking for work and things like that. And Jack Nicholson plays Jack Torrance, who moves his wife and kid into an old hotel that stays empty during the winter because the roads get so bad that nobody can make it up there, up in Colorado. And they stay in this hotel, and their kid is somewhat of a psychic, sort of the Sixth Sense before the Sixth Sense. And he shines, as they say, as Scatman Crothers tells him. And what happens, basically, is just a lot of creepy stuff, a lot of ghosty type stuff, a lot of undead. You know there's something wrong with this hotel, and that's pretty much what the movie's trying to drive home all the way through until it starts, the isolation and the haunting and all of this stuff starts to get to the Jack Torrance character's head, and he starts to lose it a little bit, or a lot of it. And I just think this is a great horror movie, one of the greatest, my favorite, as far as money goes, and you know, Stanley Kubrick is just an immaculate director. He just pays so much attention to every single detail in a film, whether it be the music done by Penderecki, and it's really kind of a demonic score that just keeps everything tense all the way through the movie, and the lighting and the following shots, and his placement of camera is just always very deliberate, and it's just one of the best made films, along with one of the best made horror movies of all time, and just images and characters that you'll never forget.
You know, I will have to agree with you on the characters, and you know, the hotel where the Shining is supposedly takes place. There actually are a couple places like that where it just snows. Yeah, and you know, Colorado. They talk about in there, you know, how there's the, you know, like the family and all the incidents that happened before that. You know, I'm not going to give spoilers on that. But they, you know, talk about that. That's what they actually have to do. And now in our day and age, with all like the technology, you know, you can get TV from, you know, I'm just spacing on the country, Vietnam, yeah. All of those things, you know, right from the comfort of your own home. Yeah. You know, isolation doesn't quite happen as much, or at least not as much as I'd like to think. I'm not sure. But you know, everything was. It's hard to describe. I'm kind of losing my words, but you know, there's some things about The Shining that I kind of noticed watching it again. Like there's actual monologue and character development, as well as also there's a woman smoking, which doesn't happen in our day and age.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, just so many things about this movie are just now iconic. I mean, we kind of take it for granted now because we've seen it parodied to death, and you know, the twins at the end of the hallway come play with us, and the blood flowing out from the elevator, just great, you know, Kubrickian images like that. And it's one of those movies where literally nothing can be happening in a scene, but it's still terrifying because of the atmosphere that he's slowly building, and it just snowballs until the climax.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of tense moments in it, and
yeah,
it's really weird. The problem is the movie has a lot of, you know, we tries to make the hotel strange. I mean, there's all these visions, and everyone's favorite is the bear mascot moment.
The guy in the bear suit, yeah. I remember the first time I discovered that. We were watching it with friends. I mean, I'd seen the movie several times before as a kid, but it's one of those things that just flies over your head until you see it when you're like post 14 years old. And we watched it with a couple of friends who were just like, whoa, wait, what? We're going to have to rewind and watch that again.
Yeah, no, and then I mean, just like Rocky Horror, you know, it's one of those. It's instilled in all of our. Every cartoon has a parody. I mean, Family Guy has.
Simpsons did it.
Everybody. It's,
yeah.
Simpsons most of the audience probably haven't even seen The Shining by now.
Oh yeah, and you can get all the references without even having to see the movie at this point, which is kind of disappointing because the way to see it is the less you know about The Shining going into it, the better it is. Yeah. I remember I watched it on TV as a little kid, and it was all edited to crap probably, but it still was just like I was fascinated and terrified at the same time. It was that weird feeling you kind of get
kind
from
of
a lot
that
of Kubrick
morbid
movies.
fascination that kind of most of the horror films have.
Yeah.
Is because as horror films, that is the closest that we want to get to death.
Yeah.
Like the Saw films, part of the excitement might be, at least from my untrained psychological degree.
Your expert opinion.
Yeah, my expert opinion. Yeah, expert opinion. Is that you get that because you want the rush of like, oh snap, I don't want to die in this situation, and then if they make it or don't make it, doesn't matter to you because you still live.
Yeah.
For that person, they're turned into little cubes or whatever it is that happens to them, and you want that rush, which is kind of why you go into watching a scary movie. Is you want that rush of being scared, and The Shining does have that because it snowballs, and by the end you're just kind of going, what is, you know what's happening, but someone that's come in that's saw the first bit, and then comes in now will just be going, what is going on? But you're watching it going, dude, you don't understand.
Yeah, the storytelling mechanisms in this movie are very unnatural and very strange. He kind of breaks the linear format. He has a lot of non sequiturs that kind of blip in. And now in the days of like David Lynch and things like that, we're kind of sort of used to that. But at the time, that was not really received all that well. And actually, this movie, it took a good decade or so for it to start getting its appreciation that it deserves. Believe it or not, Jack Nicholson was actually nominated for a Razzie. Well, in 1980 for this movie because a lot of people thought he was overacting. And now it's like one of the most iconic performances of his career.
Nice.
Yep.